JJ here from 22 Explosive Hits. I want to touch on my reggae tag. My reggae tag is going to be a little bit different. All I have in my collection really is Bob Marley, his greatest hits, and I have a couple tracks off of a K-Tel called Dance Madness, which has some West Indies sounding music. However, reggae was actually an important part of my life when I was 18 years old, and I lived on Flatbush Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. I was at Long Island University campus. Just to give perspective, Long Island University is the old Paramount Theater. The Paramount Theater is where Frank Sinatra made his debut. If you in our college gym, if you looked up, you could see the old organ, see the old architecture, but down below was actually a school gym. In our school gym is also, to give perspective, where they filmed all the Michael Jordan commercials with Spike Lee. It's got to be the shoes. They filmed a lot of those in our gym because we were right across the street from his offices. Now, what I want to touch on is a sound called the reggae hip-hop dance hall sound. And I was naive to know this at the time. I was only 18 years old when I got there. To be honest, when I heard it blasted on the streets, I really thought it was just noise. But I actually learned from doing some research that this music was actually very popular, and because in that area where I was, there was a huge influx of people that settled in that area from Jamaica, Trinidad, and other parts of the West Indies. So you'd walk on the street and you see vendors selling Rasta Bart Simpson t-shirts or in living color Rasta shirts, and they were selling their Caribbean food, and they would be blasting this music. Now, being from Milwaukee, I was shocked by this culture. My first roommate, I remember, he was from Jamaica, and the biggest thing I remember about him is that he taught me the subway system. He taught me when I got there. He said, "I'm going to simplify the subway system for you, JJ. Uptown is away from home, and since we're in Brooklyn, downtown is home. So when you're taking a subway and you want to know which way you're going, if you wanted to go into Manhattan, it was uptown, but if you wanted to come home, it was downtown." Helped me out a great deal. I also remember when he was ready to graduate, actually, because I had to take a summer program. So his mom came to town to see his graduation, and she filled our fridge with native Jamaican foods, mangoes. He was a really fun guy and really serious, very hard-working guy. I remember he worked at UPS all night long. I didn't see him very much. Now, when I went to my first college dance, they said, we're having a dance because of freshmen. Let's introduce everybody. I was used to what we had in Milwaukee. We were playing Bobby Brown, Jody Watley. Was really popular on the dance floor, and I'd like to dance to that. However, the dance floor was actually populated with this reggae dance hall music. That's all they played, and it sounded like a lot of noise. The dances were very risque for anything I was used to, being from Wisconsin and from the Midwest. Very sexual, very intimate in nature, I guess is the best way I can put it. But it was all part of the culture, and I found out that this was actually, I was in the epicenter of this cultural phenomena of the reggae hip-hop movement. I just didn't know it. I was 18 and naive. I remember I did explore Flatbush Avenue for shopping, and they had a bunch of record stores, and in those record stores they sold vinyl, no CDs. They sold 12-inch singles. They had very little CD. But in contrast, when I went back home to Milwaukee, the vinyl was being phased out and all the stores were switching to CD. The reason why they sold this because the artists that they were promoting at the time were Shaggy and Rayvon. So that's Shaggy. He was just starting out at the time. Dougie Fresh, Mega Ranton, Shrinehead, Louis Rankin, Supercat, Red Fox, and Naturally, Coco T, Bobby Condors, and Massive Sounds. Also, there were early strokes of brilliance from super producer, I believe his name was Sulam Remy. I researched, and he produced Amy Winehouse and the Fugees. They produced a lot of these vinyl records on Don Juan duplets to make the music. At the time, there was no internet. So on these power poles, you would see promoted were flyers, and they would be in subways, they'd be in bus stations, they'd be in bus stops that would advertise these dance halls that people in the neighborhood could go to, where they would see the music performed or their music played. So now, taking a step back and re-listening to this music, I actually found it kind of fun and profound that I was actually part of a cultural phenomena at the time. However, being 18, I'll be honest, I thought it was just noise. I was not aware of the cultural, economic, social impact, so I thought it was just noise. However, doing this tag was a great opportunity for me to I thought shed some light on this music and this culture, as well as maybe learn to explore it and actually learn to kind of love the music as well, because now that I'm older. Um, this music was loved by hardworking people. They had a great sense of pride in what they had. A lot of these people that went to my school, they lived in these really small apartments, but they took pride in what they had. They didn't have very much, but I remember when going to my friends' houses and stuff, they took a lot of pride in that very little bit that they had. A lot of these families were kind of devastated by the trying to find the American dream in New York, but due to that time, this was the early 90s, there was a major recession going on at that time, so a lot of them couldn't get a lot of work. So it was a very kind of poor culture, but again, a lot of pride in who they were and what their culture stood for. Um, and so this music, pretty much like they had back in the West Indies, helped them to cope with a lot of that despair and a lot of that economic disparity that they were going through. So that is my reggae tag. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, I don't have a lot of reggae music, but I thought I would take the opportunity to teach you about maybe a new form of reggae, hip hop that you weren't aware of. So I hope you have a great day, and let's remember to bring each other up rather than bring each other down. Have a good day.